Welcome back to Math Grade 1. Today we're going to do Lesson 5, and Lesson 5 is going to be a review lesson. We're going to go over the things we've talked about this week with regard to numbers from 1 through 10. We've been counting things from 1 through 10. We've been counting all different kinds of objects. Like, if you remember, we've been counting what? We've counted blue boxes. We've counted red balls. We've counted yellow triangles. We've counted white stars. Well, what do you think we should count next for our review of counting 1 through 10? Well, orange is a color we haven't used yet, so something easy to draw. How about we count some plain old oranges? So let's say this is an orange, and we're going to count them up. So we're going to start our counting with our first number in the series. And what is that number when we're counting 1 through 10? What's the first number? It's 1, right. So this is orange number 1. Now if we take another orange and bring it alongside the first one, how many oranges do we have here? That is how many? That's 2, right. 2 oranges, okay. So the next in line, we're going to go pick another orange off that tree and put it right here. So how many oranges do we have here? We've got 3 oranges. 1, 2, 3. All right. How about we pick another one and bring it over and put it with the other ones? We'll have to shrink them a little bit to make room as we get higher in the numbers. Got to make our oranges a little bit smaller to fit them on the board. Okay. So how many oranges is that? That's 4. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you end up getting the hang of visualizing what 1 of something and 2 of something and 3 of something and 4 of something looks like. Okay, so now we're going to go to 5. Yeah, we'll just do it this way. And my oranges are getting smaller and smaller, aren't they? But they're still oranges. We can still count them. So how many oranges do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And if we do another one, this is going to be orange number what? Well, how many oranges do we have altogether here? You can count them up. In fact, you can count them as I color them. That is 6. 6 oranges. All right. Now let's make room for another one. We can make them a little bit bigger. Okay, how many oranges is this? How many oranges do you see? Well, you're right if you say 7, because there are 7 oranges. Okay. Now let's make room for another one. Some are kind of big, some are kind of small. So how many oranges do we have here? Right, we've got 8 oranges all together, 2 rows of 4. Okay, let's add another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what's that one? That's 9. 9 oranges. Okay, I'm going to color them kind of quickly so we can get through this. So that's 9 oranges. Hey, let's do one more. Whoops. Hang on just a sec. Okay, we got our board back. So now let's go and put our last orange up here. And how many is that going to be? Well, you guessed it, we're counting to 10, so that's going to be 10 oranges all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, well, we've had lots of practice this week counting 1 through 10. Now let's go back and write the figures for these numbers and get a little practice in for that, writing the numerals for each of these. So let's say we go back to orange number 1. And we want to write the figure for 1. You remember what that looks like? Remember we said it looks pretty simple. That's pretty much what a 1 looks like. So that's 1. Then we want to write 2. The 2 is going to look like this. Okay, you remember? And we can practice it a couple times, so try to make it consistent so it looks pretty much the same every time. 3 is going to look like this. 4 is going to look like this. And 5 is going to look like that. That's a 5. And then 6. And then 7. And 8. Figure 8. 9. And 10. Remember, 10 has 2 numerals in it, a 1 and a 0. So that's how you write 1 through 10. And what we'll do now is let's practice a little bit reviewing. In fact, this is going to be on a sheet of paper that I'm going to do. And you don't have to do it yourself on a sheet of paper. You can if you want to. When you're ready to, you can get a pen or pencil and some paper like this with lines on it so that you can practice writing your numerals. Whenever you're ready, you can start doing that. So what we're going to do is basically start with our number 1 and just put it right here, right about there. Let me find here my pen. Get my pen started. So a 1, you can just do kind of a row of 1s like this. Just practice. See, even I need a little bit of practice. See there? Making some 1s. Now, whether you're right-handed or left-handed, that's going to make a difference in how the numbers turn out. I'm right-handed, so I've got a little bit of a right slant on my numerals, and even though this isn't really a handwriting class, it's still good to practice writing the numerals and see how it takes practice to get them to come out the same every time you write them, because they really don't look exactly the same every time you write them. But when you practice, as long as you can read legibly what they say, that's a row of 1s followed by a row of 2s. Now let's follow with a row of 3s. So you can fill up a sheet of paper with these, just practicing. See, if I go a little slower and draw carefully, they come out a little bit better, form the numbers a little bit better. Okay. I am hurrying a little bit, I realize that, so we can get through our lesson. But you can take your time when you get out your paper and your pen or your pencil, and you can practice doing these as many as you want to. Just make sure you fill up your page with all of our numbers 1 through 10. So this is what the 4s are looking like. Okay, let's go ahead and do some 5s. Let me get my pen started. Let's get some 5s. 5s look like that. And it's good to have a paper with lines on it so that helps guide you to get the right shape and the right proportion and keep them all nice and neat in a row. Okay, that's what your 5s look like. Now let's do some 6s. So our 6s are going to look like this. Practice that curvy line, the little loop coming around and closing it up. That does take practice, believe me. And you won't be good at this right away, but the more you practice, the better you'll get, just like anything else. Okay, let's do some 7s. 7s are kind of easy. One straight line and then just kind of a slanted line down, back to the left. That's a 7. And sometimes you might have a little bit of a curve. You don't have to get fancy like that, but that's basically what a 7 looks like. Let's do some 8s. Just like our figure skater doing figure 8s. That's what our 8s are going to look like. And these take a lot of practice to do, to get them right, to get them to fit on the lines and look like an 8 and not look too distorted and out of shape. So those are 8s. And we'll do some 9s on the next page. If you can fit all these on one sheet of paper, that's good. I can't because my screen is a little bit different from a sheet of paper, but that's okay. I'll take as many screens as I need to make our 9s. Okay, let's make a row of 10s to finish this up. A little bit of a slant just because I'm right-handed. And put a space in between so we know that these are separate numbers. See how I'm leaving a space after I write the 1 and the 0? For 1 10, there's another 10, there's another 10. So we don't just see 1 0 1 0 1 0. We actually see some space in between. So you always want to put a little bit of space between your numbers and your letters when you're writing, so that you can read it and somebody else can read it and know what you're trying to say in writing. So there's 10. So I just did a few of these to show you how that works. See the spaces in between to show you that these are each individual numbers. That's 10, 10, 10, and 10. Okay. Well, that's a little bit of practice and review on our numbers 1 through 10, counting and writing the numerals. Next time we get together, we're going to start looking at the numbers from 11 through 20. So do that starting in lesson 6 next time we get together. So you can review these lessons that you've seen this week and practice. And there's lots of fun little games you can do with numbers 1 through 10. We'll start looking at those. Count things around the house. As you go out to the store, to wherever, you can count all kinds of things. In nature, count things that you just see. As you go through your day, you can count and get lots of practice. And we'll count higher than 10 next time. So we'll see you then.